You. There was a definitely most cringe-worthy styles of the 90s. Late 90s, early 2000s. Basically, Jersey Shore era. Um, yeah, this seems like. Now, I've started this video several times over now. Um, Styles always come and go. I guess now that it's 2020s that we can have styles of anything we want it to be. I do love rocking the vest. You don't really see people rocking vests anymore. I know it's a real 70s and 80s, maybe even 60s thing. But I don't know, there is something like I always enjoy a nice flap right here. So you can always put something right there. You know, pockets are one thing. You can leave stuff in your pockets. But sometimes it's putting right there. It's always close to your chest. You know it's always there. You know, that's why I love wearing my jacket in the wintertime. I like putting stuff up here. Yeah. So that's why I'm really started wearing the vest, so to speak. Yeah, I want to try. I always thought a nice denim vest was always cool. You know, you've seen that on Bill and Ted. Excellent. Yeah. I mean, it is a nice little statement. Even though maybe one day I'll have a leather vest. But until now, I'll just rock the denim. You know? So, yeah. So I was thinking going several different topics. Just killing time till my laundry gets done. Thought about music. And one thing kind of really popped in my head on X is that a lot of people were making fun of the older generations, you know, saying, "Oh, Boston, I remember this and this and this. This music was the best." But now it's kind of creeping into, you know, music from the 20 aughts, the 2010s, or I say the last, 15 years, last 20 years, It had me thinking, you know, you can go on a magical device, like your cell phone, and be like, I want to listen to Mozart, maybe I want to listen to Irish Rovers, I want to listen to this, I want to listen to that. Anything on your YouTube music app, you know. And last night I was listening to some 80s stuff. I was listening to some ZZ Top, but, right, like, here's an example, Tattoo, they had a good hit in 20 years ago. It's kind of weird. I had to remind myself 20 years ago because coming up, it's my 20th high school graduation, and every time I hear songs from high school, like the what have been current, like All American Rejects, I would not listen to because All American Rejects that's exactly what they were, rejects. And the only thing I remember about that song goes back to when I was in a movie theater waiting for some movie to start. Probably one of those god awful Lord of the Ring movies, but it is kind of amazing that a song will take you back or just remind you of, okay, this song reminds me of this time, or reminds me of a someone like a girl who you can't talk about anymore because you're deep in limerence. So, by the way, Candlebox are no longer on my playlists, nor the song Tiny Dancer. You are been eliminated from my phone and playlist. Thank you very much, Dollface. So, yeah. But, yeah, even like songs would come up, be like, oh, it would take me right back to such a scene in a movie. You know, that's kind of how crazy music is, how it embedded in your head. Like, for instance, Rock and Roll Part 2. Rock and Roll Part 2 in the 90s, probably 80s too, was a big song at sporting events. They would play that, you know, when team scores a touchdown. They go, hey, hey. Well, unfortunately, it was removed because Gary Glitter's legal issues, and I thought that would kind of suck. You remove the songs because of one guy's antics. You don't and yet Michael Jackson has all that stuff he did, and you have Led Zeppelin stuff too, and you know, yeah. Who? Band Who? You know, remember the Cincinnati incident? So, and anyways, Rock and Roll Part 2 just got back recently in the playlist because of Joker from 2019. Because at the climax of the movie, Joker is going to Murray show. He does that thing on Dance on the Stairs. There was a little blowback from that. So, yeah. Even like this one just popped up. Goodbye Horses. It's an okay song on paper. But, however, it is a song that people think of when they think Silence of the Lambs. You know? This is really make a really great video. Guy wearing vests. Going through his recently playlist. So yeah. Kind of makes me wonder if I would imagine in recent years, like if somebody was playing the Andrews Sisters. The only reason I know that group is because of King of the Hill, and it would make me think that I would imagine there people are like, oh, this Andrews Sisters songs. It reminded me of the time at the USO I met this gal before I got shipped off to the Pacific. We had a doozy of a time. We danced at Charleston. Also, another kind of funny thing that pops in on my playlist. Airplay also. Of course, All Out Love. Of course. But however, as Stephen A. Smith would say, there is actually one song that reminds me um, of a movie, Slither. Slither came out about 20 years ago, and uh, every woman in the world was big song in that movie. And like literally, when hear that song, I think, boy, I remember that gross horror movie. Awesome. Um, but I actually kind of laugh sometimes when, or even before, like South Park, like 20 years ago, would play Air Supply. Even something mundane, they play Air Supply all out of love. I think it's hilarious when a show or a movie plays that song because it's so. I don't want to say really obscure, but unless you're 40 over, you know, you're you're really not hearing that song played or referenced. That's a special generation thing, but I guess now with like reaction videos that kids are learning new old songs or old songs that are new to them, which kind of makes me hope that heavy metal, rock and roll would come back. But much like going into the mosh pit, I'm too old to find out. And everything now here in America is auto-tune, done to death. It's mumbled. It's really just kind of hit and miss. I have to say it's a hit and miss. You know, hard rock. It's really kind of even Hellstorm. It's just kind of yeah. But I also kind of think deep down is same thing like rock and roll, heavy metal, all that jazz. Because 80s it was kind of still it like every rock glam metal, heavy metal band kind of looked the same. I guess supposedly now you can say all country artists look the same, but even now country is this new bastardized hybrid of pop country, which honestly kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not speaking being an old man philosophy, but I think if we fuse something like that, I think right now, literally, country is going through their new metal phase. So, something kicked off. The dryer kicked off. Anyways, country's probably going through their new metal phase, I like to call it. It's the same thing when rock and hip hop kind of um, came together with Aerosmith and Run DMC. Walk This Way is not one of my favorite tunes of Aerosmith. I think it's kind of overplayed and not that good of a song. But, it is what it is. I guess I'm saying, guys, I just lost my train of thought. But there was actually a disappearing time when, in the 70s, where you can go see a rock band and a country band. Or in part in the early 80s where you can see a new wave group and a punk band. You know, that's a little more European nowadays. They do that stuff, like weird meshes of genre music. But now here in Western world, it's either you're divided so much you're not getting a good variety of a show. Of course, all this I'm just spitballing out of my head, and I get there was actually still like I'm still kind of shocked when I see um, something like a Rat opening up for a heavy metal band, stuff like that. It's kind of shocking to be like that glam metal band. It's a metal band, but it's kind of faux chicks. Um, but it's like, wow, that certain style metal intergendered with that kind of metal, which maybe was a good thing because probably the good example I went to was the Metallica show in November of 23, and it was all hard rock acts, but that is just kind of part of the point. It's kind of funny because Metallica, had that Summer Sanitarium tour I went to 2000, and you had five amazing bands on that stage. All those bands still in the name bands, even though Paramount 5000 does small shows like they did recently here up the road, but they all still put out new music. It was a real, for the time, awesome lineup. By the way, it was System of a Down, Powerman 5000, Korn, and Kid Rock, and Metallica. I think Kid Rock was a no act, which I guess for me, seeing that stuff kind of opened my eyes. Oh, cool! This is cool band. But like now, I went and saw. Speaking of that, it's like wherever the open band was the second night I went to, it's like songs are okay. Their stage performance, it's very Alice Cooperish, but yeah. But I really came to see Five Finger Death Punch and whatever. It's like people are coming, not seeing the opening act, which I can understand why you pay to see Pantera or Five Finger Death Punch. I understand, you know, especially the lines. I remember being long for the merch. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I had thought it went away. So, anyways, yeah, I think even I can't really say because I've only been to heavy metal rock concerts, but no, I take that back. I went to an ICP show, and honestly, that was okay. Thankfully, it was double had it was wrestling before the concert, but yeah, beat the traffic that night. Mm, by the way, I got Human Tornadoes photo when he was icing his knee, ankle that night. awesome because he blew out his ankle that night. I guess another segue into, you know, a lot of times I'll watch on Pluto. Even now, I have Peacock for the time being. Some of these old great wrestling shows and like these old wrestlers, like Human Tornado. Human Tornado is probably the same guy. Really big in the Indies. 2008, mid 20, like 20 years ago until 14 years ago, 13 years ago. California guy, East Coast, or I say coastal. Probably did a thing or two with Ring of Honor, but that's pretty much it. And it's like, I remember, a lot of guys who you never heard of. Every now and again you gotta drop a real obscure name. That's like, I like to say, like a Shark Boy, like a D-Wraith 5000. By the way, a fun story. After a Impact show in 2004 at the Asylum, getting my shirt after the show, and dryer's kicking off, and I knew that it was probably the last time I would be there because they were still doing Nashville show and Orlando show, and it was kind of cool. D-Ray 5000 came up and just checking out the merchandise. It was like, wow, this guy was on the show. It's pretty cool. On a national brand show. And yeah, even I remember guys that you don't hear of anymore, especially in those early Impact years, wrestling years, like a Monty Brown. I think it was really awesome. I liked his. I liked him. I like Elix Skipper, and like recently, Christopher Daniels retired from wrestling. The guy who worked up in Chicago, and for Windy City, he, WCW, WWF, he was supposed to be the mysterious person leading the Ministry of Darkness. It's like, God, I remember seeing him live. And I actually got to see Dusty Rhodes wrestle live at an Impact show in 2003. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I gotta say, I got to see the people I love watching old wrestling with, and it's kind of cool. Like, even the guys like really obscure guys like Chili Willy, like the last year of ECW was kind of a fan favorite, and watching it now, it's like, wow, that guy was on TV, and he probably did indies after the company folded, and all this jive, and Simon Dean went on to do something a little bit after ECW closed, and Roadkill, man, that was a great gimmick, and it's like, yeah, and like 20. I like to say 20 years ago, but I know I'm not referring to 2005. I gotta try to keep reminding myself. No, it's 23 years ago now. God. Yeah, this is like a weird period being a wrestling fan because ECW, WCW were gone. You had this one corporate entity, much like now. But somehow, for some odd reason, like the other night, it's always warming. I can turn on the TV and watch a Chris Benoit match, or watch Harlem Heat, High Voltage, something when I was a kid. It just kind of, it's like, and it's all about. I guess I'll bring it back. It's like, God, I remember this. I remember when I was a kid watching this on TV. Oh, this is awesome part right here. Oh man, what was that one episode where he wrestled this guy and Chucky came out? It's like nostalgia can be a very profitable avenue sometimes. Yeah, and even like that has a nostalgia. Like this is even in this room. This is my nostalgia room. You know, I got all my Star Trek stuff. Yeah, even though the nostalgia bubble's probably bursting, but it's like when I was young, I never was able to have a DeLorean, and now I have like several of them and little action figures to put them in. Always one of those when I was 7 years old, 8 years old, but there weren't grown-ups like me who catered at something like that, especially since I grew up in the 90s. And the last Back to the Future movie was in 1990. And that merchandise idea was shipped long before. So, yeah, but I'm kind of glad there's people in sort of in power right now that, hey, a new RoboCop action figure. Actually, got a couple, found a couple of RoboCop stuff. I have a Proton pack right here, a workable one, not the one from Kenner back in the day, but one that actually lights up. But I'm kind of glad there are people, more had resources and more opportunity to get advancement in these companies to make nostalgia stuff. Even like Redbubble and TeePublic. That's kind of nostalgia stuff. Even remembering, it's the NFL championship game that's coming up. Being 13 years old, see St. Louis won the Super Bowl and skipping school and going to the NFL championship parade. By the way, I was 13 years old, skipped school. It was like probably below freezing in St. Louis, downtown St. Louis. I still, to this day, feel it in my hip bones, the coldness of standing there next to the Capitol building in St. Louis, waiting for the team to come down Marketplace. Where's the Marketplace? Is that the street Marketplace? No, Marketplace is going this way. We're coming this way. So, but now I actually did not see the video until the actual parade video until a couple of years ago on YouTube, and that's a whole other thing. There's a lot. I really don't watch cable anymore. A lot of it's on YouTube. Old shows like today I was watching The Soup. Loved watching The Soup on Friday nights, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever came on. That was my jam. I was thinking today, I missed the watching Tyra Banks talk show. I miss stuff even 17 years ago. Yeah. But thankfully, there are people like me that always kept stuff, get recorded, everything, because honestly, VHS was awesome because you had, even though they're bulk tapes, they were 6 hours, You can record them. VCRs, same thing. VCRs were awesome. You can record for 6 hours and have it on tape. And there was the thing called YouTube eventually. And it'd be like, hey, this is a commercial from the 70s or 80s. Yeah. Anywho, I actually got over my limit. I'm probably pushing 20 minutes, maybe 30. Anywho, don't know when I will see you again, but I can hear my washer kicking off, so I'll need to get off and attend to that.